Hi guys, hello, meet everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. It's a Saturday. It's the 7th of November, and it's getting closer to where it should be temperature-wise after being cooking at a unpleasantly warm 16 degrees Celsius last night. In fact, it was so warm in here with the lights on, I almost had no choice but to turn on the air conditioner, which of course I did. And now we got the we don't have the air conditioner on right now, but we still have the lights on. Today I wanted to talk to you about a couple of different things. Obviously, you can see we have our studio set up as it would normally be, as best we can, since we are missing still one light fixture, which is actually located in a paint job Jimmy's doing for one of his buildings, and so I have to get another light fixture because Jimmy, unfortunately, notoriously doesn't always remember. He actually asks for permission to borrow the light source. Alright, so anyway, that's another story. Today we're going to talk about the how I feel about yesterday's Ask Us Anything. And I'm going to be plain blunt with you guys. I was extremely disappointed. I was hoping so much that we were going to get some phone calls in. But like Lemmy found out when she looked at the way the wiring was done, she said, you realize it's great that the phone call will be able to hear you, and you would be able to hear the phone call, but the people in Google Hangouts would not be able to contact the phone caller because there's no connection for the audio output of the mixer to go back to the phone system. And I said, okay, so obviously something didn't sort of get calculated into my design. So even if they had called, the caller would have only been able to hear me, the caller would, and me hear the caller, but none of the other people on Hangouts would have been able to talk to the caller. So that would have kind of sucked. Now, today is just a normal Saturday. I don't really have anything planned. I'm still trying to get things set up the way I like them, and I've had to make some adjustments with the light fixtures to kind of compensate for the differences, only having 2 instead of 3 lights. So trying to make do with 2-point versus 3-point lighting, we know for a fact is not really the right way to do it, but oh well, that's what we got, so we have to make do with what we got. Could we in the future consider going with some alternative lighting options, such as the use of LEDs, floodlights? Yeah, we could. It's not impossible to go with LED floodlights instead of these incandescents. I would be willing to do it, with the caveat that I have to find a light source that meets a couple very important criterion, and they are very important for video and audio and for photography work as well. Number one, the flicker ideally should not exist. In other words, the light has to be clean, pure DC, no alternating current, flickering. Okay, because once you go faster than 15 to 30 frames per second on film, you're going to see that flicker and show up as banding. Another thing too is, since we shoot in PAL, we may or may not be affected so much by 60 hertz flicker, at least on the camera going. Except, ears. Except for the fact is that the camera may have some trouble trying to lock in on a proper exposure consistently because of the slight variation of brightness. Now you gotta understand, unlike incandescent light bulbs, the LED light sources are much more instantaneous on showing the results of voltage changes. So the capacitors and the filter in the power supply has to be much more able to buffer the voltage between the transitionary state, as I mentioned before, because we use alternating current in this country. So there's a correct point here when the sinusoidal wave, let's say going down. Let me just show you with a graph here. If I take the wave, a standard wave here, it starts from 0 volts, goes to maximum threshold. In this case, the United States is about 120. At about a 30th of a second, it is at maximum of 120 volts. Then the voltage hits the crossover point of 0 volts in relation to Earth. Okay? And then it becomes a negative voltage. And again, now it becomes minus 120 at the peak. Okay? And then it goes back to 0. So, which means that for the sake of most people, your capacitor, the filter capacitor in your LED power supply must be pretty large to allow your light source to deal with this. It's a standard filtering capacitor circuit, really. Okay, you got your bridge rectifier. Okay, you got your either a choke, which isn't too commonly used much anymore, but much is another way to do it. And you have your electrolytic capacitor, which can also be used with a choke. And the whole idea is that it will provide a constant voltage. Actually, since we're talking about LEDs, which are more of a current source than a voltage source, but usually they're using a voltage source for a current source. Don't ask me to explain that, guys. I can't. It's complicated. I remember service from electrical engineering many years ago, and I don't even remember all the details. But anyways, the point is that when you turn, when the light every 30th of a second is at 0 crossing, okay, you'll want to still have your LED at a brightness that approaches maximum, ideally maximum. In that case, what it's doing is it's living off the capacitor at that point. Okay? Then, as the voltage goes back to positive or negative on the sinusoidal wave, it's going to start charging the capacitor up again. Now, if you're using a full wave rectifier, that's pretty straightforward because everything is converted into a positive voltage in relation to Earth or the ground line. Okay, so, and then the capacitor basically just takes that bumpy wave, and it looks like a little, just like little picket fence bumps, and it turns that into a pure, flat, 120 volts DC, and ideally it should be the less ripple, the better, especially for LEDs. For some light sources, such as incandescent lights, it doesn't matter. CFLs, it doesn't really matter. But LEDs, it matters. So, unfortunately, looking at some of the videos of several of the breakdown of several of the imported Chinese light bulbs, done by Big Clive in the UK, he shows that, number one, a lot of them do not have the earth wire connected to the frame of the light source. That's a no-no. Okay? The earth wire must be attached to your frame of your light source. Okay? Second of all, he found out that a lot of the drivers, maybe 100 watt units, but the power supplies are only rated for 50 watts. So not only are you overworking your power supply, but your LED output is never going to be close to 100%. If it's 100 watt, it will never be close to 100 watt if it's only got a 50 watt maximum output power supply. So he said, it's a disappointing thing that I'm not getting 100 watts out of these beautiful light fixtures I bought. He says, but they are 100 watt LEDs. But he says, are these LEDs free from flaws? Are these a good design LEDs? Or are they using seconds or per quality LED units? I can't say. But it's a great question to think about for video production, because, I mean, if you're going to go out there and use an LED light source, you want your light sources to be consistent. It's not the same thing as just trying to light up your Christmas tree in Christmas time. Where it matters if the LEDs are going to flicker and stuff like that. Some people don't mind that flicker. Actually, I hate it, but then I'm an Edison gal anyway, so don't judge me, okay? But the thing is that we need to have our LEDs to be consistent output over a variety of period of time. They may last, say, 22 years, but unfortunately enough, if the manufacturer of the design of the circuit has not put in quality components, it doesn't matter if it lasts 22 years or 2,200 years. It's going to end up in the skiff. Anyway, the point is you want a light source that is going to last a long time, and that is not going to change. I don't care what they told you in economy school, whatever you want to call it, about buying the cheap-ass stuff and hoping to get good quality results out of it. There is a point of where that logic absolutely positively falls flat on its ass. If you, for example, are buying cheap-ass crap, and you're going to expect that you're going to get the same result as on a, say, in this case, LED light fixture, that may be, say, a mid-range fixture with a better quality power unit and a LED driver, you're really, unfortunately, a lot of times are very disillusioned, because there's no way a good quality LED driver, say, could cost, say, I don't know, got to come up with a number here, say $4 for a 20 watt unit, and you're going to try to buy one, I'm talking about the module now, for 50 cents from China. You're not guaranteed you're going to get an LED unit that is going to properly produce all the power that you need for your work. And that's bad enough, as I said. It was just for your workshop where you're not really caring so much about lighting a set. But if you're like me and you're lighting a set and it's your workshop area too, you want your light source to be consistent. It has to be a certain brightness. It has to have a certain quality image to it. It's not because we're assholes. It's not because I'm the Sam Breakstone of the video. Not clean enough. Not good enough. Not bright enough. I am the way I am because I have learned the hard way. Don't use crappy light sources and expect to have your videos look good. The same place for everything else in the system too. Microphones, cameras, mixers, cables, especially for analog, since we shoot analog anyway, shooting PAL. But, you want your quality has got to be there. There are certain things where crap does not work well. Okay? The point is that everything that we're doing depends on quality has to go in before the name goes on. That's what Lisa Wayne used to say. Right? Speaking of which, I have to admit, of the different video production software that we have for streaming live on the internet, I think that the 8 program works very well. I'm actually find that program to be not too complicated. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It doesn't make hard for most people to understand. So that's a plus with 8 which makes it great for videos. However, the other problem I have with some things in the computer industry lately, and I mentioned this on the computer with Angela last night. I'm going to rehash what I said because I think it's a good point. Everybody now wants computers that have either tactile touchscreen, which isn't bad, or they're insisting that everybody should have a computer with a mouse. This table here is only about maybe about a meter wide by a meter long. Okay? And so what's happening is I had this computer on this table. And you can see here in this desktop, there's a place in the plywood. Because there used to be a rubber backing here on the top. Leather-like rubber, synthetic. Okay, we took that off because it was ripped to shreds. So it was just worthless. After many years of serving dutifully, the material just started to crack and rip. And it was just time to get rid of it. So we went to natural wood look, as we have here now. But unfortunately, I gotta get some wood filler, and I gotta resand this, and make this look better, and then maybe my mouse wouldn't be such a royal nightmare to work on, because then at least it would glide better on my table. But it wasn't the option in that night. Okay, see, like if I had it like this side here is good. This side here is deeper inset than this side here. Why is that? I have no idea. It just is. Probably because I need to readjust and bring this material down better on this side. Okay. But if I'm going to go through that much aggravation anyway, I'm going to pop the plywood out, and I'm going to fill in the cracks on it, resand it, and then put it back down into the material. Make it look good. It's a $27 card table. I bought this thing about 10, 15 years ago at Walmart. It has served me very well for my video work and for a variety of projects. It says, well, it's my kitchen table both in Litchfield Street. This is my kitchen table here too, until we got the kitchen table we have now. I was supposedly going to put a tablecloth on it. I never got the tablecloth yet because it's a rectangular table, and I have to measure the length and width of it to determine the tablecloth. And then, of course, we found out that now that we don't have our Section 8 anymore, the ability to buy a tablecloth has basically just went, looks like the drapes, out the door. Okay? Maybe it will happen again in the future, but it's not going to be today. Okay, so I'm really kind of very disappointed that I did not get a chance to express last night my frustrations with that mouse. Where the Mac was sitting, it was right here where the microphone was. The mouse is like right here where my hand is, and it kept running into this dip in the table. And then, of course, the mouse cursor would jump all the way across the screen, and I had to keep going back to track it. And then when I hit the same place again, it would jump all the way across the screen, and I had to go way back to track it. So it felt like I was living in Dante's Inferno of hell, because I couldn't go ahead and track my cursor because the stupid cursor kept jumping back too far ahead or whatever. That's one problem when you're legally blind, is that it's really hard to track a cursor on a screen. I have on my trackball Mac in the other room, I have it set up a little differently. First of all, I'm using a trackball, which makes a lot difference. Okay, it does not need a large surface, it just basically stays in one place. So I just basically use the mouse, just moving my thumb around to position the thing on the screen. And that makes one difference. Another thing that is different with it is I have identified a home position on my screen. What that means is using the smart corners, I have this corner up here to turn on the screensaver. So if I go all the way over here and the screensaver goes on, then I know I'm in the home position, and then I can easily gently ease back, and I'll get out of the screensaver, and I can go ahead and find what I am. If I scroll the mouse down too low and the taskbar pops up on the bottom, then I know I'm at the bottom of the screen, and I can look and see which icons pop up, and then I can determine where I am. But this Mac isn't set up that way. It could be, but I haven't really gotten to it yet. And you have to remember the Mac and me are not exactly buddies. There's a lot of frustration between between this machine and me, and it's never ever going to go away, because it's not the computer's fault, it's Apple's fault. Apple's fault for trying to become the Me Too type of idea of a PC platform. And that's stupid, because every single Mac user has grown to love the Mac, or they are not in the mood to give up their sensibilities that their machine gives them. But unfortunately, Apple's decision to do what they did is just sent a very nasty message to them, which is, I'm sorry, but we are trying to become the Me Too computer of the world, which is completely different from what Steve Jobs wanted us to believe. Steve Jobs wanted us to have a computer that lets us think different. That was true with the iMac, the 2005 G5 one. Okay, might as well include that one, because that did become the part of the case became part of the 2006 Intel Mac. The Power Mac G5s, the Power Mac G4s, the G3s. Yeah, there really was a G2, but it wasn't called a G2. And there was really a G1, but it wasn't called a G1. It was a 601. And the G2 would be like a 603 or something like that. But the point I'm trying to say is every Mac application on my Power Mac is much more of a pleasure to use. I mentioned this before about installing Linux is fairly simple, and it is. Linux installing on a Power Mac G5 is fairly simple. At least you can get it to boot without too much of a fight. Getting it to work with an X Windows, not quite, but that's because the way Apple does with the video graphics, and especially with the ATI chipset. I don't know how the NVIDIAs compare, but I do know that the ATIs definitely are a really difficult screen event to work with. Now, everybody keeps talking about how great the touchscreen is. How come Apple has never made, and they still don't have it yet? So I'm definitely going to ask this question because it's a great question. Why doesn't Apple make a touched screen compatible desktop Mac. That is just like on your iPad or on your iPhone. Instead of necessarily needing to use the mouse, you can touch the screen with your fingers and help make things happen. Some of the purists will say, well, that means I have to take my fingers off the home row of the keyboard. Yeah, well, depending on the Mac you're using, you gotta take your fingers off the home row of the keyboard to use the mouse anyway, so what's the difference? Another thing, too, is that I think that Apple and a lot of companies, not just Apple, but especially are kind of leaving the disabled kind of in limbo, because we're not sure what we're supposed to use. Because if we use one product, we find ourselves with a product that doesn't meet our needs. I would definitely say there are features I need on my computer that is definitely tailored to my needs. One, speech response. Speech prompting or text-to-speech prompting is great, but with my hearing loss, that's not a really good, reliable source. Okay? A sense of feedback when I'm in a certain points of the screen. That would be nice. Maybe a mouse that had the ability to send a tactile response back. So I knew that if I was in a certain place, maybe the device could, vibrate a slight vibration to let me know where I am, or since indicate if it was like across a slider control, it may be able to sense in kind of a tactile response as I slide the slider or something. That's really what I need, and I don't see that. I know that some of the technology is very expensive. There are gaming mice and trackballs that can do the vibration part, but the software on the other end that interconnects all the systems together would have to be custom, and that would cost money. Custom is not cheap, never has been. Also, because of my hearing loss, we do have my TDDs hooked up now. I didn't get all three hooked up. I got the one. The most important one on my workstation is up and running. So now I can make a call to teletype services for the deaf, and we can get things done that way. And that's a great thing. I haven't got it set up yet where you can call me and guarantee you're going to get right through to the TDD. But give me some time. We'll get it done. We'll work on it. I got to program some things in the phone system. As far as last night goes, I like I said, I was very disappointed. I really don't know what to tell you how I feel, because I am really was just disappointed. Last night was such a limited success. With no phone calls coming in, but not with little things. So let me pointing out that glitch. Even if we had callers come in, I think we all would have been kind of trying to scramble way to get everybody to talk to everybody. And oh well, we'll try. I'm also very disappointed right now with the son and mother we're getting here in New England. I never been one to start whining like a 5-year-old, but it's getting close to my season, so I can start getting a little more whiny here. I want my snow, okay? It's November. Why can't it's early November? There's no reason why we should not have had a dusting yet of snow. I don't understand what's going on with the warm front. That's one of the things that also is related to the situation with this. This situation with the loss of the satellite dish. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but it's getting really hard for me to keep up with all the weather events going on. I watch what I can, I look at the maps the best I can, but sometimes I feel like I'm still missing a piece of the story, and then so I looked at the latest situation. I know we got a cold trough coming down from Canada and the west of the country, and it may eventually move eastward. Because right now we have a what's called an anti-trough over New England area, whereas there's a warm front that from the south that has dominated. It has kept the Canadian cold air out of the Connecticut area. That cold air trough has got to be, will actually move forward. I'll look into the situation on animated maps in the National Weather Service and see what they say. But, that's, to me, I want autumn to end. I want to see the beginning of winter preparations begin. I don't want to have to keep sitting here and have to worry about turning on my air conditioner in the middle of November just because I happen to have the studio lights on. Normally these studio lights in the studio here are set up so that when we are in the studio, it provides the supplemental heat for the apartment, and that makes a difference. But if it's too warm outside, then there's too much heat buildup in here. And unfortunately, we do not have the system set up so we can have lights on this side and lights on the other side of the apartment, or in the other studio simultaneously. Which would be nice if we could have had both studios running independently of each other, but it's a whole nother story. For the future, we're going to try to do that, but that's not right now. I also wanted to talk to you too. You want to talk to him about? Yeah, but it's not really something we need to discuss on this program because it's more of something on my channel, my programs. I'm going to talk to you guys later on today. We're going to do one for me. We're going to talk about astrology information. And that's one guy that Michelle kind of ended up getting in contact with by the name of Padua. He seems to keep trying to push a certain story upon Michelle, which we both know from Mother Asna is absolutely positively inaccurate in a lot of ways. But then there is some accuracy. But we're going to talk about the inaccuracy, not so much the accuracies. Accuracies, we'll just briefly discuss them in the future. So we'll try to get that in today or tomorrow. We get the weekend, we don't have to do it tonight. Right, we don't have to do it tonight. We can do it tomorrow, too. We can tape it tomorrow in the daytime. And also tomorrow night, the temperature is going to be, down to -1? Yeah. So then we're going to need those supplemental heats. We're going to need the heats. Yeah, that's true. And so that's something for the future. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Right. And also, I wanted to remind everybody that I'm not personally angry at anybody who could not make it to the Ask Us Anything. I just don't want you to think that I'm mad at you or anything. But I would definitely like to see you ask the questions that you haven't asked. And there's where you send them to. There we go. Now I have the address you can send them to on a card here. Okay? bcast11072015I@yahoo.com or gmail.com. And you can send your PayPal donations to the same address. Okay? So there's no reason whatsoever why you can't say that you can not reach me. When you have the address right here, right below my chin, there is no reason why you cannot send me a question for next week's Ask Us Anything. I'm telling you right now, you send them to this address, bicashela3@gmail.com, and PayPal donations can go to the same place, bicashela3@gmail.com, or bicashela3@yahoo.com. Pick your poison, they go to the same place, really. There's two separate PayPal addresses. Now, we have, of course, been hoping to have had a nice, wonderful live Ask Us Anything, but like Lumi pointed out with the phone, and what may have been a a potential fiasco. If Andrew had wanted to ask the caller a certain question, the caller would not have heard Andrew. The caller would have heard me. The caller would Andrew would have heard the caller, but that would have been a problem for everybody. So that didn't work out. But that's just a technical issue that could have been fixed. Next topic is, as I mentioned, we don't have the satellite dish. Could you or someone please tell me? And I contacted the people of Food Network TV, and I haven't gotten a straight-on response yet. How can I subscribe directly to the Food Network channel, which I know is operated by Scripps? How can I actually sign a yearly contract or monthly agreement where I can watch the Food Network channel on my iPhone as a subscriber? I don't have the money to buy a satellite programming package, and I do not have the money right now to buy a cable package. And even if I wanted a cable package in here, there's no guarantee that my cable TV wire even works in the first place. So, which means we may not have been able to watch crap. But then again, maybe they want. But the problem is that every single one of these packages is going to seriously cut into my bottom line right now. So it's not unless I can find a job. It would be feasible to go there and buying a package for a TV just to watch one TV channel. The same thing for Discovery Communications, the other series of channels I watch. I'd like to buy a yearly or monthly package so I can watch my Discovery Science and my Discovery channel on my iPhone directly and not have to worry about buying a ton of different additional packages I cannot afford. You've ever thought about getting a Hulu Plus unit? A Hulu? You mean a Roku? Yeah, I have. I might still be up to it. Okay, that would be a good way to solve some of your problem. Yeah. The only problem is that some of the channels I want to watch are only available on the Roku 2 and Roku 3. What? Oh, you're kidding me. Hulu Plus and Hulu is one of them. Netflix is available for all three, but only Hulu is not available for the one or the 1LT, but it's only on the 2XR and 3. And the only one that has a standard composite video output of the 3 is the 2XR, the 2XP something, and then of course the 1, right? The 3 does not have a composite output, so I wouldn't be able to plug it into my TV. I might be able to buy an HDMI or HDCP adapter to VGA adapter and then plug that into a composite video adapter and then from VGA into my computer or into my TV. But that would be, again, it's like everything else in my life. The more adapters you plug in, the more complicated it gets. As we found out about the phone system last night. Exactly. So it's not necessarily feasible. By the way, what's the other part? I never haven't talked about it. Some days it varies. Like right now, I'm looking at the light. I still see a morning glory on the right eye. I look at the light, my left eye. I sometimes see occasionally eye strain morning glories in that, but this is a little different. So it's not really easy to determine how I'm going. I'm still taking my eye drops. I think I know my right eye has made some progress over the years, but it's still taking a long time to really say it's anywhere close to what it was in high school would be kind of accurate. It is close to what it was in high school with my glasses on, my right eye. My left eye is better than it was in my high school, even without my glasses. So that's a major step in the right direction. At least it's better than not being able to see at all. I gotta admit, it's made a big difference. And of course, this month we have something else too, which is we have to eventually, sooner or later, we're going to have to deal with the things about my hearing loss. I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. We have the TDD, that helps. You know, it's funny. People have empathy for the blind, but they have no empathy whatsoever for those with hearing loss. I am really serious. If you got a hearing problem, you're more likely to get a more empathetic shoulder if you're blind than if you are partially mild or moderately deaf. If you are partially moderately deaf, they are looked at with disgust. I don't know why that is. You know, first of all, I tried hearing aids, and all I did was to amplify the volume so much that it made my ears hurt at the end of the day. And I absolutely positively could not tolerate them. Okay? For a long period of time. And that's pretty sad. My eyeglasses, I take them off during the videos because the reflections of the glass lenses on top of the light sources really looks kind of unpleasant. But it doesn't mean that I like walking around blind as bad either. Thank God I have enough functional vision without my glasses that I can go ahead and do things without my glasses. I have been known to go to Cumberland Farms without my glasses at night. So that's a great thing. But the sad truth is it's so vexing for a hearing loss person to have to do to talk on the phone with some people. It's not, as we found out in some cases, in my case, it's not consistently on the phone. That's the problem. But rather, it is the way the phone processes the signal. It makes it really hard for me to hear it. And then they get angry because they think I'm deliberately trying to act like an asshole when I can't hear what they're saying. And it frustrates me because I really do want to hear what they're saying. And there's no treatment for it. It's not like, there are some ear surgeries, but I don't think you could do it. But no, that's true. A cochlear implant? Could they put a cochlear implant in my ear? That's a great question, Lim. I don't know. That's the only choice you really would have. That's a cochlear implant? I don't know. I mean, unless they could find out if there's something wrong with the way your eardrum is attached to your cochlea as it is. I mean, maybe there's something that's preventing the hammer or the stirrup or the other parts in your right ear from properly passing the motion from the eardrum over to the inner ear. I don't know. I'm not an ear specialist. Neither am I. And because of the key piece you just said, ear specialist, that's going to cost ear expensive because that would have to go against my deductible and I'd have to pay up the wazoo for that. Dr. Lemonbaugh has looked at my ear. He said to me, he says, physically I can't see anything wrong, but I'm not a specialist. They said you got some crud in your ear, which you got to clean out. And of course, I did do that. We got a lot of it out. Oh yeah. So that helped a lot, but it still doesn't answer everything. Right. But I guess that's where we stand right now in life is what's next? I don't know. I'm trying to find some good Christmas movies. I want to watch some Christmas stuff. I know, it's a little early. See, on the Hallmark Channel, alright, they're already starting to put out the Christmas movies. Okay, I already know this for a fact. Guess what? I don't get to watch. You don't get to watch Christmas stuff. I don't get to watch Christmas stuff on Hallmark Channel. Or the 28 Days of Christmas on ABC Family. Again, if you want to talk about the things that basically make me want to stand up and growl and scream and carry on, there you go. is having to miss my favorite holiday shows this year. There is nothing more irritating than realizing that it's either watch TV and I have no food, or I end up defaulting on credit card debts, which is just absolutely positively a really, really big step backwards for me, because I've been wanting to get my credit score up into the 720, 750 range for a long time. I'm almost there. I'm getting there. It's taken me a long time, but I'm beginning to see a positive change in my credit score. And I'm going to try to get that credit score up, because number one, with a good credit score, I could probably get, in fact, here's the thing that most people don't realize. Most employers now will look at your credit score to determine if you're a good candidate for a job. Now figure that one out. So if your credit score is only like 550 and you're trying to apply for a job at McDonald's, the manager is probably going to say to himself well, I don't think this individual really wants this job, because if they really wanted this job, they would have a credit score higher. But that's not even really fair. It's like, it's not that you don't want the job to get above 550, for example. You can't, because you have no job, so you can't fix your credit score. Yeah, but then it goes that way too. You gotta understand one thing. Okay, if you have a credit score of 550, what are you doing to pay the bill? Are you even attempting to pay that bill? If you are not attempting to pay that bill, then the manager of McDonald's is probably right on the thought and saying this person is just a deadbeat because they don't want to pay their bill. On the other hand, if they see, when they look at the credit score, usually if there's any violations of collections out, and they see that the person is making payments, and that they are, even though there's a few things that are still in collections, and they're making payments on a monthly basis, and then they're more than likely, along with checking the person's work history, everybody says, I'm going to give this guy a try, or this girl a try, because at least I can see that they've been trying to pay their bills. So you see, it kind of hits both ways. Yeah, but I thought people try to get jobs so they can pay off their bills. They do. But trying to deprive a person of having a job because of a bad credit score, to me, sounds like, and you're right, it is. Because it's a devil runs the world right now. Satan runs the world, and Satan decided that's the way it's going to be. It does not make it right. It does not make it just. It just makes it fact. So you want to change your credit score and try to work on it and improve it, and so that eventually the day's going to come that maybe you can put that along with your. Oh, my problem is your resume is like crap. My resume is crap. You're absolutely right. There is no jobs because of my legal blindness and partial hearing loss. So how am I supposed to tell an employer when I cannot even speak ASL? I cannot even do ASL. I don't know how to do ASL. Because first of all, I tried to take a class to learn ASL. And I couldn't even see the signing of the person that I was talking to, my teacher. So if I can't see what they're signing, how can I understand what they're saying? Yet you could use the Helen Keller manual alphabet system, as long as the other person understands how to use it. Okay. I get it. Okay, now you get it. So, this is the kind of thing that is hurting me. Now, as I'm a smart person, I'm a resourceful person, I'm getting, look what I'm doing with these videos. This ain't videos designed, by some child somewhere. I mean, you gotta put something on the back wall there? Picture? Maybe. I haven't used the extra chroma key piece on the computer in a while, but I might try some chroma key on it. To see if I still have the chops, but we'll see. But for the time being, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching these videos. And even though, as I said, the Ask Us Anything live didn't go well last night, I'm not so much upset with you. I just wish that it could have worked out. It didn't, But don't forget, you can still send questions for next week's, because we're still having an Ask Us Anything. So email your questions to bicehela3@gmail.com. As you want to make a donation, you can send it to the same place on PayPal, or to bicehela3@yahoo.com. And for the time being, Illumi and I will work on your video tomorrow, Illumi. We'll see if we can get it working. Cool. Okay. So see you later, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, did you know there's a lot more going on right now at our websites? Are you watching all 4 of them? If not, check them out. There's a list right here. We got 3 YouTube channels and 1 audio-only channel for your enjoyment. So come on and dig in and see all the stuff we do here at the North American Snow Queen Palace.